DreamCon, Mark Phillips, RDC, Dylan, all those guys have been. Um, they need to be more truthful to their audience if they're trying to build this aura and allure of being community. If they're trying to be, for the people first, et cetera, et cetera. Because the moves that they're making in this new DreamCon announcement aren't for the community. They aren't for the people. They need to just get rid of that. So had some debacles from last DreamCon, and that was back in July, late July. And already we have some new information about this year's DreamCon 2024 that's coming up, and it's not looking to be the best. It's not looking to be the best. So this is about panelists. Should DreamCon panel aspirants purchase an admission badge? The answer is yes. A standard admission badge of any type is required for entry into the con, even if you are accepted as a panelist. Please note, DreamCon has discontinued complimentary badges for accepted panelists.
He lied! Y'all niggas worship him!
This is ass backwards. DreamCon has discontinued complimentary badges for accepted panelists. As such, the previous refund process no longer exists effective immediately. The previous process was you submitted an application and you bought a ticket before the deadline, right? So you bought a badge and you submitted an application. If you were accepted as a panelist, as a speaker, or whatever, you could file for a refund for said purchase ticket. But now what they're saying is, no longer will they give refunds if they accept you as a panelist. We are excited to offer more opportunities for badge purchases this year, and believe this extended timeline promoted in advance of the event helps you adequately prepare for the convention, regardless of the panel decision made. We recommend that you encourage your friends that you plan to invite onto your panel to acquire badges as soon as possible. Now, I want to go into this person's other tweet. Do other big conventions do this? And from my understanding, it's no. And I'm going to explain why other conventions don't do this. I know people have this allure or this love or whatever the case may be for their favorite content creator, these these conventions and all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But even as a small creator, you are doing a service for the convention as a whole. You are bringing people, and it's a benefit for you and for them. And to be quite honest with you, if we really want to get into it, it's more of a benefit for them than it is to you.
He lied! Y'all niggas worship him!
So I'm going to get to the real meat and potatoes of the conversation, because you know that's what I'm here for. So what happens in these conversations is, let's keep it a buck, and I'm going to take it from our perspective. Let's Keep It a Buck has a viewing audience of 200,000 people. We get 20-something, 30-something thousand people on the live views. We get millions of views per month between the shorts and all these things. So when we tell people, hey, we're going to be at DreamCon, there are people who are now making decisions and preparing, just like Prototype said, hey, I am going to DreamCon to see Let's Keep It a Buck. And I know that may be surprising to a lot of people. We're not the biggest. We don't have the millions of people on our platform like other platforms do. However, I think we do a pretty decent job of having people come out. And this is before we even started. So there was more people. People came, people went. But we had a good turnout for our thing at, DreamCon. We had a good number of people. Some of these people came to see other people, but there were people there that legitimately came to see us and hang out with other friends. They didn't come to see the big name folks. They didn't come to do anime, da-da-da-da-da. So now for DreamCon, let's just say that right there was about 30 people. Let's say it was 30 people. We, because those people came out for DreamCon, sold 30 tickets for DreamCon. Those tickets were $75. That's $200 or $2,250 for DreamCon. Somebody's gonna say a drop in the bucket, but that's a good amount of work for us to see in return a free badge. That's it. It's 4 of us. We're talking about 4 tickets at $75. What is that? That's $300. So 2,250 minus 300, you still get to profit $1,950, about $2,000. About $2,000 is what you get to profit. You still gain more than you lose by giving us that. And then there's the draw for the next year and the next year and the next year, knowing that a group like Let's Keep It a Buck. So we're doing work for you. We're creating content. We're putting eyes on you. People are making the decision to go to you because we said we were going to be there. Other conventions don't do this. They understand. They didn't say why they made this change. I know why they made this change. I know why they made this change. But when you take away this small perk, it's so small and it's so insignificant, but it's so big in the grand scheme as to what you're saying, your message. You can't give away a badge to somebody who's planning content for you. I don't want to hear about the exposure conversation, because the way that you go about promoting, the way that people go about benefiting people didn't come there for us, or people didn't come there with you, or with new people finding us the way that it was set up. It's not like we're getting a lot of exposure. You threw us in a top level room in the far back right, and you had us going against dodgeball at night. Crazy. Super crazy to me. Super crazy to me. But it is what it is. Same thing for the panelists. We had people come for us. They paid you to come see us. They didn't pay us to come see us, which is kind of ass backwards. If you want to make this about the big name content creators and have it be an event, then that's fine. Then that's totally fine. But just say that. Just don't accept some of these people for panelist spots. Just be about the big name creators. So they're saying no. No. Oh shit. Shout out to Oscar.
He's heating up.
Aleve just subscribed. Hopefully it'll go towards the subscriber count. That's 14 fucking cheeseburgers. That's crazy, dog. Shitty equipment and all. This is not common. No. Been a panelist for years. I can tell you panelists work hard and contribute to the cons. So cons give panelists their badge for free. And it's for all the days at the con. Some even do just for the day of the con. But no other con does this. No other con does this. No convention does this. It's just petty. So then they added this, because this wasn't here before when this first came out. This year, there are more opportunities for badge purchases. We believe this extended timeline promoted in advance will help you prepare, blah, blah, blah. Finally, we try to keep this a surprise, but couldn't contain it any longer and want to make sure you are informed as tickets drop. We're excited to offer 2 new additions this year for panelists. Accepted panelists will have their standard weekend badge converted to a panelist badge, allowing them to take advantage of a panelist package. Keep an eye out for more information about the panelist package when the panel applications open in late October. That means a bullshit ass different keychain, which they may get to, they may not get to, and a t-shirt. That's truly all this is. That's all they're saying. As somebody running a business, a price increase, because they also increased the price to $100 from $75. If you're going to increase the price, you got to have a pretty doggone good reason as to why. And hell, It don't even have to be doggone good. You just have to have a reason as to why you would increase your price. That's all. That's what you would have to do. Like literally. This is a slap in the face to people who provide for your show. And if what you're trying to do, because I think this is what they're trying to do again, is make their con a convention where it is just about the big name content creators, the ad spaces that they can sell, et cetera, et cetera. If that's what you're trying to do, that's what you're trying to do. Perfectly fine. But just say that and stop jerking people around.
Omar's been hosting this space about DreamCon because apparently, for the people who don't know, and I guess this could be our first topic of the day, DreamCon allegedly is number one, raising prices for their badges, and number two, panelists will not be provided badges this upcoming year. So for those who don't know, people who had panels, people who were on their content schedule over this last DreamCon were awarded complimentary badges for being panelists on the event, which is essentially a free pass to the event instead of paying $75 per person. Now, today they announced that in the 2024 DreamCon, that'll not be the case. If you are a panelist, you will need to pay for this newly upgraded in price $100 badge to get into this event where you will host a panel for us. That apparently is what's going on. And there's been a lot of backlash. There has been a lot of backlash when it comes to this announcement because of the fact that, number one, it was free last year.
Nasty.
If this was just the norm,
This nigga's nasty.
I don't think it would have been a problem. But if there's one thing to know about marketing products, the worst thing you can do to really anger people is take features away that were once free and make them paid.
Absolutely, 100%.
Take features away that were once free
100%.
and make them paid. And essentially, that's what they did for panelists. Now you got to pay to get into the event to, on top of that, host an event for this event. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of backwards. But in actuality, chat, I'll say this. As a person who had a panel last year, as a person who had a podcast last year, effectively, this is what they did to us.
My brother is spitting.
This is honestly not new news to me, because this is essentially what Let's Keep It a Buck had to experience going into DreamCon 2023. So for those who don't know about how badges work, about how they're bought for DreamCon releases the badges in waves.
And I don't want to kill B Souls' video. I want y'all to go watch it. But what's crazy is post DreamCon, there were a lot of, B Souls says watch it, I'll watch it. Post DreamCon, there was a lot of give them grace, give them chance, etc., etc. But I want you guys to know that, to me at least, the writing was on the wall. And if folks take this personal, then it is what it is. But I would put this in the category of constructive criticism. Whether RDC changes anything or not is up to them. They're bag getters. They're capitalists at the end of the day. It's about the money, all that stuff like that. You can put your parasocial relationship to the side. It's about getting $1. So, they took in your considerations and criticisms. However, there's a lot of money to be made. So you can talk about, what about all of the upgrades, the security features, et cetera, et cetera. If I was to give a price increase, just like B Soul said, you need to explain why it's there. So far, I believe I'm getting the same thing for an upgraded price without any new things introduced or even talked about. You know, when you introduce a product, watch how all these other companies introduce products at their their brand day or whatever. They'll talk about the features all day long and they'll get to the price. Or they'll start with the price to get the people who just, oh, I can't afford that out of the way. But eventually they'll go into explaining it right after. But never, ever, ever would somebody introduce a price and leave you hanging for an extended period of time about the details. That's where you lose people no matter what side they're on. You lose a lot of people. You lose the contemplators. You lose the contemplators.
All right, they sell out pretty fucking fast, and I believe that's why they do waves. And the first wave was actually today. So the first wave of, yo, if you want to get badges for next year's DreamCon, you can buy them today. That was today, and there's a limited amount that you can buy. That you can buy. They did the same process last year, right? And the last wave was in February. They also had applications for certain groups who wanted to apply to be a panelist that were like in December or January. So, us being Let's Keep It a Buck, we want to get a panel.
Figure out how to make money on this.
We want to get a panel.
HG.
Gotta figure out how to make money on this. I really want to.
Shouts out to H. Griffin, man. That's a real sub. That's a real sub right there.
So we applied during that time. However, like I just said, that last wave for the tickets was in February. They didn't get back to us on if we are actually going to be at DreamCon or not as a panelist until a month before DreamCon. And then they said, yo, you can get complimentary badges. So as a group, if we wanted to go to DreamCon, regardless of if we were going to be a panelist or not, we were kind of fucked and forced to buy the tickets in February because, hey, what if we didn't get accepted as a panelist? Now that last wave of badges just went by, and now we don't have a panel, and we don't have tickets to the event. It was kind of fucked. So in actuality, we were already forced to buy. We were already forced to buy tickets.
Oh my God.
For DreamCon, even though we were.
What's my beat count? That's a crazy question to ask. I don't beat my meat on the weekends. I'll beat it on the weekday.
Panelists, and also we didn't get any refund. You know what I'm saying? They gave us complimentary badges once we got there, but we also had badges that we legitimately paid for. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole discussion going around. Damn, they just ended the space. But yeah, that was the whole discussion going around DreamCon today. Because of last year, there was also a lot of issues with DreamCon last year. In terms of staffing issues, people complaining about lines, people complaining about people jumping lines and just sneaking through events that, you know, they really shouldn't have. And when it comes to news like this, there's been a very loud minority of people, I would say, that have been like, yo, not too much.
I have B-Souls higher than me right now. Like the video itself higher than my mic, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing this with y'all.
On DreamCon, bro. Not too much on DreamCon. You know what I'm saying? Give them a chance. You know, they're YouTubers. They're figuring it out. Stop hating. And all I gotta say to those people is, man, and if RDC ever catches wind of that space or even this stream, bro, I hope y'all don't take this criticism as hate, bro. I hope people don't take this criticism as hate. We can all still be supporters of RDC and their success while also criticizing, like, you know, their actions. Criticizing the faults and the things that they can improve on as a convention host of a big-ass convention with 28,000, projected to be 30+ thousand next year, where people are investing time and a shit ton of money too. Because for those people who don't,
but you know what's the most bullshit thing about this whole thing, and it's because B-Soul said the numbers. Yo, I know that they said 28,000, But who they legitimately let in through the doors was way more than 28,000. When we talk about people's entourages, people's posses, the people who are friends of that had badges, some of the people that just walked in, there were so many people who I was in spaces and places with that just said that they fucking walked in. They would just, my bad, let me turn it all the way up there. They would just walk in. They would legitimately just fucking walk in to the venue. And they would be in it. And that's so nasty that you can't give people who are effectively working for the convention as a whole some sort of complimentary badge. Like and mind you, at different things, and everybody's package is different. Pause. Everybody's compensation looks different. I'm almost certain that there were panelists there that got paid at least a couple dollars to do the panel. I know that there were for a fact. I know that there were. But what I'm saying is everybody that does work for your everybody that does work for your convention should find some way to get compensated. If you don't want to let as many people in, then have a better vetting process or have an actual vetting process and be selective about who you let in and who you don't let in. Other conventions do that all the time. They don't let every Tom, Dick, and Harry just present or talk at their conventions. They don't. It doesn't make sense to me that people would think that this is okay or justify that this is okay. And I swear to you, content creation is the most ass backwards space I've ever seen. It's literally on a day-to-day basis, people making up rules. Just as they go, people making up rules because there's no guideline or blueprint beforehand. But I guarantee you, there are people out there that know their worth. They know that there's a guideline, they know that there's blueprints, and they're not going to take simple stuff like this. To be quite honest with you, and I know that somebody's going to watch this and be like, who gives a fuck if you show up or whatever the case may be. This seems like, let's keep it a buck, should be down at DreamCon. It should be down in Austin when DreamCon is in Austin, but not purchase tickets for the events. It's not like we benefited or did anything crazy at the events or whatever the case may be that kind of justify us purchasing a ticket. We attended Family Feud, but it's not like we were jockeying for dodgeball. Dodgeball was done at the same time. That was basketball. Was done at the same time as we were on. I think dodgeball, we were doing something else. And we're just going to hold events outside of the actual convention. We'll just hold events of our own outside of the convention.
I don't know. A lot of people who go to DreamCon aren't from Texas. Or maybe not a majority, but still, a lot of people who go to DreamCon are not from Texas. A lot of people buy plane tickets. A lot of people coordinate dates, take time off work even. A lot of people pay for their own lodging, whether that's an Airbnb or a hotel. DreamCon doesn't pay for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I do think while Let's Keep It a Buck had a great experience at DreamCon this last year, because I specifically was with people who just knew how to get into certain places and sneak in through certain shits. But in actuality, bro, that's not the majority of people at DreamCon. And when you go to an event and you buy something, you are promised certain things. You know what I'm saying? You are promised you are promised access to certain things. And last year, a lot of people were complaining about, those top tier badges really not meaning anything, because motherfuckers not only were getting to the event as a whole for free, but getting into certain events that were specifically for that badge, again, for free, or damn near for free by buying a lower tier badge. So when people criticize shit like that, motherfuckers shouldn't take that as hate, bro. Motherfuckers should take that as, yo, y'all fucked up. I bought this certain thing, and I'm not getting it. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? I do wish the best for DreamCon next year. When it comes to the whole panel situation, I'm honestly not a fan of it because, again, I am also not a fan of people taking things away that were once free and adding a paywall to them. But also, it's kind of like the principle of, yo, bro, you have events to fill. You have time slots to fill. And at the end of the day, you are asking groups of people to invest a lot of time, energy, and resources to fill up these events for you. These people also have audiences of themselves, which are helping people, which is helping your event get more traction and effectively more money. And now you're asking us to effectively pay you? That's kind of fucked. And it's also fucked because, hey, maybe this is my conspiracy bag, but I honestly feel like it's not really a conspiracy. Other panelists do not have to pay to be a panelist.
He's in my bag for real, for real. They pay them. And it's about who you know, what you can get away with, et cetera, et cetera. Because if you also think that this is coming out of, Mark and RDC's pockets, then that would be stupid too. No, they're getting it from investors. So just like when two rapper friends do a verse for each other, it's not about their rapper friends paying, not getting paid, and everybody's doing this for free, and then their rapper friends asking for money or whatever the case may be. Go to the management because it's in your budget. It's gonna get spent. It has to be spent anyway. Submit this invoice and have them pay this invoice for me. Some bros, there's some comp there. AMP, I'm sure there's some comp there. There's some comp in these things. Not subjected to the same stuff as we are. And hell, who knows? When they get a better vetting process and all that stuff, with our application, we can just submit, hey, we want this, we want that, et cetera, et cetera. But they know people just like that girl in the video. They know that there are more people that come to those events specifically for said creators than, we're led to believe. They know it's more than that. They just know. Sorry, they know.
Certain people do not have to pay to get into DreamCon because they are certain people. I would not be surprised if it comes out that AMP and them did not have to pay for badges at DreamCon. I wouldn't be surprised, which is fine. Connect how you want to connect. Do what you got to do if you're AMP. Free badges, fuck it. If there's some bros, I wouldn't be surprised if them motherfuckers also got free badges. They didn't have to worry about paying $75 per member. So effectively, this is just a big fuck you to those small content creators who want to have a panel at your event and are also bringing not YRG, not AMP levels of audiences, but a level of audience to your event as well. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's a big fuck you to literally everyone that isn't some bros, that isn't AMP, that isn't RDC, that isn't Corey Kenshin, that isn't, I don't even know, because there might be some other high level content creators that aren't just hitting my head right now.
Nah, he's spitting.
But it's a fuck you to those lower tier creators that RDC might directly not know, but have audiences that would want to see them host panels and host events at DreamCon. Like, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Let's keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I feel like this was a big fuck you to people like us who aren't big enough to, just get into DreamCon for free. Arguably we are. But at this point in time, I'm gonna just say we're not. I don't, that have pull enough for people to come to events and panels for us specifically. And now y'all are asking us to pay. I don't know. It's kind of, that's kind of fucked.
Like I said, I think that the future for us, and haven't had a legitimate, serious conversation something might come out in a wash later on. My personal vote would be spend that money, rent a space down there, host a podcast down there, you know, and like we could legitimately do it like that, and we could just pay. We could just pay to do it. Pay a couple $100, get in there for a couple hours. I'm looking at studios in the area, whatever the case may be. Hell, we could even do one with a pool and do it like that. But just host some shit of our own that don't got shit to do with the name DreamCon. And we could do whatever we want to do with it. And not be subjected to the parameters that they set out for us. So that's what I'm in the camp of.